All right, mateys. And we're hanging out here at Henderson's Wharf Marina in Fells Point. When we departed North Point Marina on Thursday, it was just going to be for a couple of nights here. There was like no wind at all, and Friday was supposed to be windy, which wasn't going to be so bad because we were going to be here, and then we would depart either Saturday or no later than Sunday. Well, now we're departing on Monday. I said, when we departed North Point, there was no wind out there. The bay was just flat. We had to motor the whole way. Well, there's still quite a few boats out there, though, and regardless of what happens, at the mouth of the Patapsco, it's always going to be a little bit of wavy. And that day wasn't bad at all. But the winds have been howling now for 3 days with 20, 25, 30 knot gusts. I mean, it's just been a windy time. And now, you know, coming up the river wasn't bad. There are a lot of commercial vessels out there. We didn't run into a lot of them, a few recreational fishermen and that. But it's kind of interesting to come up. And, of course, we always go by Fort Carroll, which every year it gets a little bit more diminished. And I'll put a link in the description below if you'd like to see a little bit of the history of that. And of course, coming underneath the Key Bridge, you want to stay away from the supports because that water can really get swirling around. And I've been wondering the last year when we would come in what these new construction things we're doing out on the other side of the Key Bridge. Well, it turns out they're power line towers, so you got to kind of be clear of them. But just toward Fort McHenry is the Francis Scott Key Bridge, or Francis Scott Key buoy, where Francis Scott Key was kept while he wrote. I'll put a link in the description for that too. And then, of course, you know, we came up and there was big to-do about all these new big cranes coming into Baltimore. Now, I'm not sure if these are the cranes or not. They look pretty big to me. Wasn't a lot of activity going on that day, but the cranes look pretty big to me. And then, of course, when you come into Baltimore itself, Fort McHenry, that site never gets old. Well, as I said, we stay at Henderson's because it's right in Fells Point, and it's easy to get into. And the flags along the outer piers, not only do they make the marina look nice, but they're handy when it comes to docking because then you can see the intensity and the direction of the wind. It changes a little bit from the outer pier to the inner piers, so those flags kind of help. Neat thing too about this marina, it is definitely catamaran friendly. There's a couple of cats in here. I mean, they're in slips. They're not out on the T-pier. They're in slips. And this is also a very liveaboard friendly marina. The key here is for us is that it's the gateway to Fells Point. And it's also a great stopover for those doing the Great Loop. Now, there were, I think, 2 or 3 boats in here that were doing the Great Loop, and we met a couple of them, and one of them, Sam and Bev, they've got a YouTube channel. I'll put a link below for you to check them out, too, on cruising. So anyway, we got all settled in and tied up and took a little walk into Fells Point. And I tell you what, we've been here for a few days now. We're walking around every day. We have always felt safe here. There are joggers day and night. Any time of day, you'll see the joggers walking or jogging around. And the sights in Fells Point, that never gets old. I mean, some of the architecture is a little unique. The cobblestone roads, and some of them still have the tracks from the trolley in it. And they are constantly updating and renovating buildings. There's always something new going on in Fells Point. And, you know, a lot of restaurants, bars, shops. We always stop in, have a drink or two at a couple of the places. And there's still the outdoor dining. And I talked to a couple of the restaurant owners and managers, and I didn't know this. They pay taxes on that outdoor dining. That's an extension of their dining room, and they have to pay for that. That's not like free space for them. And some of these guys have invested a lot of money into making this outdoor dining, and I think it's going to be around for a while. They do too. They're very optimistic on that. And Fells Point was really busy this weekend. I mean, there were no special events going on. There were just a lot of people around. And then on Saturday mornings, they have the farmers market right in Fells Point on that little square area. I couldn't believe how many people were at that. That thing was packed. Hardly room to walk around. And vendors. Last year when we were here, the farmers market, it was good, but I'll bet they've got double the vendors this year that they had last year. And a lot of really neat items. I mean, there's liquors, there's beers, of course there's vegetables, produce, pork, lamb, beef, you name it, they've got it there. And like I said, it was crowded. I mean, I didn't want to take a lot of pictures of individual people there. A lot of them were pushing strollers, you know, young couples, and it was just really kind of a neat thing to see. People getting out, not being afraid, and having a good time. And then if you're here at Henderson's and you want to go see some of the other sites around Baltimore, like even for Fort McHenry, it's too bad you can't dock up there. That would be a lot of fun. But here, look, you can just take the water taxi, go right over. That's the best way to get there. Then you don't have to worry about anything. So if you're thinking about cruising to Baltimore and Fells Point, maybe you're thinking, I don't know. Just my personal opinion. We come every year, once or twice a year. We've never had a problem. Henderson's Wharf is right in Fells Point, so you just walk out, you're right there, and we had a great time. So anyway, guys, until next time, happy and safe boating to you, your family, and friends.